One question came up for me to ask you, and I'm going to start off the interview. Starting off this question. What does YERP mean?
YERP, actually, that was brought here by my teammate, Romaine Henry, and we just kind of took it and ran with it. Just to be honest, we started off saying YERP when we saw a pretty lady, pretty female that we tried to talk to, but they didn't usually turn around too much, so then we just kept it in between the teams. So we just say YERP in place of yeah, or cool, or that's goes,
Anything,
YERP. Yeah, YERP.
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 Talk about what it's like to be part of the Kennesaw State team.
It's a good environment to be in, especially like with this year's team. The expectations are very high for this team this year. We're planning on making it to the NCAA tournament. So, during workouts and just doing everyday things, like there's more intensity than ever before since I've been here. I've been here 4 years, my 4th year. So it's a good atmosphere to be in.
Let me ask you guys this question. Expectations coming in last year, while obviously no matter where you are as a team, you always have high expectations for yourself. This year, expectations are kind of high from outside people. Last year you were picked 12th to finish 12th in the ASUN. Last year you finished 8th. This year your preseason picked 4th or 5th depending on the publication. What type of even anxiety does that add to what you do on your day-to-day basis?
The preseason stuff, the rankings and all that, it don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. We just take it day by day. Last year we thought we could win the championship. We came one game away. We should have went to the championship. We was up 15 and lost. So we just take that. We just take that as motivation. We've been doing that since day one. We really don't pay attention to the outside. We keep it into the 15, 16 that we got on the team, and we keep our goals focused from there.
Yeah, along those lines. Basically, like you're saying, like we were ranked 12th to start out the year as far as preseason, but this year we're ranked 5th, and that's a credit to us actually beating the number 1 seed. I feel like we got a little bit more respect around the league, but we feel like we should be ranked higher. But like Spencer said, really the preseason rankings really don't matter. We just have to prove it on the court, that we're number 1, and we have to go ahead and show that throughout the year, and then get to the tournament and capitalize.
Talk about the emotion in that first game in the ASUN tournament. You guys knock off the number 1 seed. Talk about the emotion behind that game. And
by the way, the only of the 32 conference tournaments, the only team to beat a number 1 seed in the first round last year.
Well, we went into the game. The game plan was it was different because we usually have a whole bunch of writing on the board about what we're going to do to execute, but we only had a couple words on the board for this game. So we just went out and played. We knew what we could do. And it was very exciting because everybody around us was very excited. So we were excited to make them excited. We had people travel down to Mercer to come support us and all that. So we just wanted to put on a show for our fans, and we did that. And it was very exciting. If you see the pictures, you'll be able to tell. It was very exciting.
I agree with Spencer, and I'm just going to add another note. Just basically I think we were more excited when we found out the matchup period that we had Lipscomb because – we beat them here at home, and I feel like we let one slip away when we played them at Lipscomb. So when we found out that they were the number 1 seed, people really, like, from the outside looking in, they were thinking that, we would be a little bit shaken or whatever because it was our first time in the tournament. But I think we had a favorable matchup in Lipscomb, so we had a lot of confidence going into the game, and I think that showed throughout the game. And we ended up pulling it off, and it was a great win for our program. And it was just basically a stepping stone, for seasons to come.
You're both upperclassmen, junior, senior, and you're both sort of like a leader. You're both guards, point guards, and Kelvin's a captain this year. And we have a bunch of new players on the team, freshmen, transfers. How do you guys being leaders kind of help get everybody into the system, help people know what's going on?
We just have to basically show them the Kennesaw way, working hard, playing as a team. And the new guys that we have, they've done a good job of adapting to, what we've been teaching them and what the coaches have been teaching them. So I believe that, the class coming in they're definitely going to help us a lot just on the little things. And the freshmen, they've been doing a good job of listening to the upperclassmen and pushing the upperclassmen to work harder. So it'd be interesting to see how they do, when the season starts and they get in the game action.
I think we just try to lead by example for the most part. Kelvin's the captain on the team, and like you said, I am one of the leaders on the team. Although we do have many, so we just let Kelvin do most of the talking. And other than that, we lead by example. We got the young guys that they came in, and they gunning for our spots. They want to play, so all they're doing is pushing us to work harder, which in the end pushes them to work harder. So we all working hard. We all coming together as one, and it's gonna be nice to see what the outcome looks like.
I'm going to direct this question more toward Kelvin. Coming from Whitfield Academy, you came from a championship program. Most of these guys here have come from winning programs, but not necessarily championship programs, because there's a huge difference. How do you, as the captain this year, how do you use that in what you've learned over your first 3 years here to lead a team to a championship that on this level hasn't had one yet?
All right. I'm glad you made a comparison as far as like between the difference between the winning team and the championship program. Basically, it takes a lot. It takes everybody being on the same page, and it takes there's no egos at all. Like everybody has to be working towards one common goal, and everybody has to push each other every day. And that's where I came from at Whitfield Academy. Like our talent level, I can say this as far as like the talent level this year on this team is we have more talent this year than I've ever had. Period. But at the same time, at Whitfield, the talent we beat other talented teams because of the way we played, and we played hard, we played for each other, and it was nobody, saying I want to get 30 this night or playing for the crowd. It was more everybody's playing for the school and praying for the team, So that's what I think our biggest obstacle is going to be is putting all our talent together and showing everybody that we can play as a team. Because when you do that, it's a good thing to see. A lot of people are not going to be able to beat us if we do that.
And I've played on a couple of championship teams. Been an assistant coach on a high school level on a championship team. Do you as a leader, and Spencer, you can even answer this yourself, even though you may not be a captain per se. You still run the point. You're still the floor general. Do you guys have an issue with anybody? I don't care who it is, whether it's the walk on at the end of the bench or one of your starters. How do you guys put aside or talk, walk up and say, hey, you know what, you're not following the right path. This isn't the way we need to go. How do you correct that without making yourself, because a lot
bruising
of times,
an ego,
right? Without bruising an ego, because a lot of times if you do that, people perceive you as being a diva or whatever the case may be. How do you balance that?
Well, from my side, it's really clear cut with our team because we all get along real well. And we all hang out outside of the court, and we all are friends. So when we're outside of the court, if someone's not doing something the right way, we tell each other, and we respond the right way. Like, everybody knows, like, for instance, if Kelvin tells me I'm not doing something right, I know it's not out of spite. It's not out of him disliking me. It's out of him looking out for the best interest of me. You know what I'm saying? And him also. So that's all it is. Everybody, we don't really have to worry about that too much because, of course, you're going to get upset every now and then, but we all know that us as a unit, as a collective unit, we all look out for each other and each other's best interests. So that's on my side.
Basically on my side, like Spencer been saying, like he said, basically, I'm the captain of the team, I'm the leader of the team, he's the leader of the team. I basically had to teach Spencer early, like I've been trying to, step by step tell him that when you deal, first of all, players are people, like that's the thing with like professional players. Sometimes the fans get on them and act like they're not really people. But at the end of the day, we have feelings. One of the biggest things of being a leader, you handle each individual player differently because everybody is different. So I can talk to Spencer some way, but I'll talk to Matt a different way. Right. When I'm getting on him or if I'm just talking to him, period. So you have to balance that, and that's the hardest part. Like telling the player to do something the right way without yelling at them if they're not accustomed to that, or if that doesn't motivate them. Or a person like Spencer, if you yell at him, I feel like he'll respond and he'll do what you need him to do, and that's just a part of the leadership role and just period. That's the hardest part of being a leader.
Talk about the growth of this program. You guys have both been here for a while. Talk about the growth from when you guys first came in, just of the team and the university.
It's grown every year. I think they said, 5 to 10 years would be like the biggest school in Georgia, something like that. just the university has just grown, and more and more things are being built, and more and more people are coming. So I feel like, well, in reference to the basketball team, I feel like after this year, because I feel like we're gonna do some big things, it's gonna help the school as a whole. We just have to execute and just. I know everybody knows we're getting a football team. In 2014, I believe the school is just growing. And it's good to be a part of. When I first got here, I mean, I'm pretty much from the area. I'm from Smyrna, but I really didn't even know too much about Kennesaw. Like, I knew a little bit, but I didn't know a lot. But I feel like the word is spreading, and we're becoming more and more popular as we get bigger.
Not even from the basketball point of view, but when I first got here, it wasn't too much. It wasn't too much publication or broadcasting about our basketball team. Now, if you go on the internet, they got ticket packages. They're broadcasting games way earlier than the games happen. When I first got here, I think everybody on our team was either from Georgia or Alabama. Mm-hmm. Now we have players from Chicago, from Indiana, Arizona. So that in itself tells you that the program is getting more buzz across the nation. All we can do is just keep striving for that. And like Kelvin said, we're getting a football team now. We're getting interviews on the radio now. So, that stuff wasn't happening when I first got here. So you can just tell that the program in general is growing.
Kelvin McConnell and Spencer Dixon joined the big show. Talk about how you guys are chomping at the bit. Georgia Tech comes in here November
15th.
15th, not the 17th, Matt.
Yeah, show up on the 17th, Matt, and see what happens. Yeah.
November 15th, Georgia Tech comes in here. Talk about how you guys are chomping at the bit to get at Georgia Tech.
Well, we went down there last year, and we really didn't put on the performance that we wanted to, but we feel like we can play with them, and we just hope that we get a big crowd and the most support we can. But at the same time, we know it's bigger than just Georgia Tech. We got to get ready for Georgia Tech, but we also have games before Georgia Tech and after Georgia Tech, so we have to get ready for this whole season. Although that is mainly the highlight of the first half of the season, but we think we're going to be ready for them, and hopefully we can continue to be ready for the teams that we play after that.
So save that, because you got to give him a copy of that to put with his professional resume. Already knows how to do interviews. Because that was textbook right there.
He's caught up on the cliches.
Yes, he has.
I think Spencer said it all. Like he was saying, this season is not just about playing that game on the 15th. We have some unfinished business with the ASUN tournament that's more important to Georgia Tech. It's definitely going to help us in the season if we pull it off and just for the program as a whole. But like Spencer said, we have games before that and we have games after that. So we can't just solely focus on one game to define our season. But it would definitely be a big boost.
Talk about your expectations for the season. You guys said you have games before Georgia Tech, games after Georgia Tech. That's not a focus per se, but talk about your overall goals for the season. Is the NCAA tournament a realistic goal for you guys?
It very much is, and it was a goal for us last year. We fell a little bit short, but like I said, with this team this year, we have more experience. We're hungrier. We have players that were bought in, that have bought into our system and our style. So basically, the NCAA tournament is our main goal for the season.
And just as a quick side note, doing research like I'm supposed to do for this show, if you go back and you look at this team that went 14-20 or 13-20 last year, whatever it was, I think it was 13-20. 14 of those 20 losses were by 8 points or less. That's 2 possessions on each side of the ball, and you're talking a completely different team. So, I just wanted to put that in there as well. So, when we get into a question later on, they'll understand where that question is coming from.
We had Aaron on the last show. He's from Arizona. Both of you guys are more localized. Come from Cobb County. How do you feel that's helped y'all adapt into college basketball, blossom as a basketball player? Just being from here and not having to adapt to a new place. And
I feel it's definitely positives and negatives about that. The positive side, you already have pretty much a fan base to come check you out when you play. Your parents can come see you play anytime. But it's also a negative side to that. Sometimes you feel like, man, maybe if I went out, I got a different experience. But me personally, I'm glad that I stayed here Cobb County ain't never did nothing bad to me, so I mean, it's no problem. It's no problem. I feel like I'd have been all right whether I stayed close or went far away. So it's really a non-factor to me.